Samuel Taylor IV, and it is a great honor to be asked to speak this evening regarding Black History Month. My training and education were founded in the home, and my understanding of Black history was taught to me by my maternal grandparents, Mary and David. My foundation in American history started at home listening to the stories of my old granddad, David, born 76 years before me. Before I get into my immediate family history, I would like to give you a bit of background on myself. I've been a resident of Santa Clarita since August 1997, and I've been a resident of Los Angeles County, City of Los Angeles, since February 1990. I moved to California for opportunity and a career in law enforcement. I am an honorably retired Los Angeles Police motorcycle officer, granted a service-connected disability pension in my 20th year of service. I was severely injured in my service to the city of Los Angeles. I was born on Webb Air Force Base, Big Spring, Texas in 1968, when they still had white-only signs in the public laundromat. I first lived in Philadelphia when my father went off to Vietnam to complete his 309 combat missions flying an 8037B Dragonfly in 1970. Upon his return to the States, he was upgraded to a new aircraft, the F-111, and we lived in Upper Hayford, England for 3 years. When we returned to the United States, I lived in Philadelphia from kindergarten to culinary school and was enveloped in American history, Black history, every day. From the Bishop James Varick AME Zion Church that I attended as a small child, where did I get that? Which served as a way station for the Underground Railroad, to the boarding school Girard College that I was sent to, all have a deep connection with Black history in Philadelphia. But it was the stories that I was told at the dining room table by my maternal grandfather, David E. Amey, born January 19, 1893 in Durham, North Carolina. David told me about the war down the road when he was a little boy. He was referring to the Spanish-American War. David told me about his migration north in 1908 from Durham, North Carolina to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. David told me about serving in World War I and being shot, getting hit by shrapnel, and gassed all in the same day. David told me about surviving the Spanish flu and returning to the United States on February the 14th, 1919. Sorry, I remember the dates. David's father, Elijah, was born in 1871. Elijah's father, Anderson Amey, was born unknown month, unknown day, 1813, and died suddenly October the 3rd, 1917, at 104 years old, according to his death certificate. David knew his grandfather, who lived as an enslaved man for 51 years and free for 53 years. My connection to the enslavement of my people, the great battle for freedom, the Civil War, Reconstruction, Jim Crow, and the Civil Rights Movement were spoken to me at the dinner table. As a little boy, I was mesmerized by my grandfather's stories and was truly blown away when 30 years after his death, I was able to verify all of his amazing stories through ancestry research. As a child, I was unsure if he was correct when he told me he registered for World War II. I said, "Granddad, you were almost 50 years old. Why did you do that?" I was blown away when I found his World War I and his World War II draft registration cards. At that same dining room table in July 1977, he sat with my father, Major Sam Taylor, and his father, Lieutenant Colonel Ulysses S. Taylor, both Air Force fighter and attack pilots with almost 400 combat missions between them. When David asked my father how fast was the fastest he flew, and my father responded, "Twice the speed of sound," I could see my grandfather, David, thinking about the prospect of going twice the speed of sound. He was a young man when the first airplane flew 227 miles from his home. David died in 1993 at 100 years, 6 months. My family service to this country is a major part of my story, and extremely relevant with the firing of the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff Friday. Our felonious president, drunk Secretary of State have targeted members of the military, the woke ones, but it is the black, brown, and female officers who will go first. I have been affected by systemic and institutional racism within the Los Angeles Police Department and bear scars from my 20-year experience. Never in my life have I felt such open hostility towards me personally and my African American culture. Black history is American history. This new Republican administration wants to erase the history of our people, all of our people. But we must stand up and continue to tell our stories in order for the African American people not to be eradicated from the history books. I have lived Black history every day of my life and American history every time I speak my name. Now is the time to stand up and fight, or this grand American experiment will end. Thank you.